Hello, hello, and welcome to Patriot Over 50. I hope everybody's doing good. And well, thank you. I'm playing with sound effects. They have some sound effects um, on StreamYard that you can use: applause, drum roll, scream man, boo, and a handful of others. But anyway, so this was supposed to be a weekend review, except it's already Thursday, and I'm not quite sure where one week ends and the other begins because a lot of this stuff just kind of runs together. And anyway, I'm going to try to break some stuff down for you guys. And welcome back. Buckle up because Florida, where I live, has been has been on one this week. I don't know what's in the water down here, but our governor, our lieutenant governor, and a handful of Israel first politicians have been sprinting towards speech policing like it's a competitive sport. From Tallahassee trying to muzzle Floridians to Netanyahu giving a speech that sounds like a rerun of every speech he's ever given, to Pam Bondi combusting on live TV over the Epstein files, it's been a circus. So let's get started. So I do have a script because I'm old and can't remember things this long without a script. So, like I said, I live in Florida, and oh my gosh, there's some shenanigans going on here. DeSantis, our governor, is so pro-Israel that it makes me want to throw up for real. So is the lieutenant governor. So are half of the other politicians in Florida, and they are, like I'd say, the past year they've been putting laws on the books that have to do with sentiments. Oh my gosh, I can't even say the word. Let me just start. How about that? Florida has officially entered its "we're not even pretending anymore" era. Nope, they're not hiding their allegiance to Israel anymore. They have gotten so bold that, with the assurance of a biased judge with a big gavel, DeSantis, the lieutenant governor, and his name's Jay Collins, the U.S. House member Randy Fine, and the rest of the Israel First Brigade in Florida are sprinting towards speech policing like it's the Olympics. They're not even subtle about it. No, they're not. They're openly trying to make it a crime, an actual criminal offense, you guys, to criticize Israel. To criticize Israel. You heard it here first. And you can't criticize Netanyahu, the Israeli government. Can't criticize anyone. They're trying to make it a crime in Florida. Let me tell you what is happening right now as I speak. There are two bills that I'm going to talk about. They're of great concern to me, and dare I say, should be of great concern to all Floridians and even to all Americans. Because I hear there's a lot of states starting this. They're trying to take away our speech freedoms. It's terrible. So this is huge. According to the Florida Senate's official bill page, Bill HB 1471 has passed the Florida House and is now moving through the Senate side of the process. This bill, listen to this. This bill would allow the head of the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, who is chosen by the governor, to designate groups as foreign or domestic terrorist organizations. Groups could be labeled as such if they engage in criminal violence, intimidate or coerce a civilian population, or influence the policy of a government by intimidation or coercion. This is absolutely insane and never should have made it this far in the making it to law process here. It's crazy. Don't forget, this says if you make anyone feel intimidated by your speech in Florida, you are a terrorist. Make no mistake, this only rolls back the freedoms of America. It's looking nice, isn't it? Well, another horrible bad bill. Buckle up for this one because this proves that these people are wacko. A Senate committee advanced SB 1106, which would direct state agencies to use the biblical terms Judea and Samaria instead of calling it the West Bank. You guys, they're trying to change the name of the West Bank. If that's not the craziest thing I've ever heard of. This is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. They want to call the West Bank in all official documents, school libraries, and instructional materials. All those people would have to comply. Yep, you heard me correctly. They want to literally change the name of the West Bank to Judea and Samaria. Biblical terms, they say. Our children wouldn't even be able to find it on a map. They'd be looking for Judea and Samaria, and it would be West Bank on a map, and they'd be lost. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. It's so disgustingly egregious that something like this is even being entertained that I am embarrassed for them. Of course, they're not embarrassed. They're never embarrassed. They think that all of us are horrible people if we are America first and not Israel first, like them. They are just Israel simps. So, okay, moving on, but staying in Florida. Oh, I don't think I finished that. Did I finish that one? Yeah. Senate committee has advanced this bill and it is sitting. Okay. That bill about changing the name of the West Bank is sitting in the Rules Committee in Tallahassee, waiting for the committee to decide whether they're going to hear it or not. If they say yes, it goes to the Florida State Senate for a vote. If it passes there, then it goes to the governor where he can approve it or veto it. But we all know that DeSantis loves Israel, even though it comes at a big cost to Floridians. And that means he will gladly approve it, of course, without even blinking an eye. So yes, in Florida, they're trying to rename the West Bank. Can you even imagine? Like if they change the name, the history magically disappears. It's giving, if we don't like the facts, we'll just rewrite them. That's what they do. Like I said, staying in Florida, a state where people can't afford insurance, can't afford housing, can't get a straight answer about property taxes. Boy, we have some troubles with property taxes, you guys. DeSantis decides to take the taxpayers' money and give billions of it to who the frick else? Who do you think? Yeah, besides all the money our federal government is giving Israel, the state of Florida is giving our taxpayers the taxpayers' money to Israel, like millions of dollars, millions. Yes, Florida taxpayers have given Israel around $60 million, and we were never asked if we approved that or not. Of course not. But that isn't even all of it. Florida's local governments give large investments also. It's been said that the Palm Beach County, that's probably the richest county in Florida, has given Israel around $1 billion over time. 1 billion, that's with a B. This is absolutely disgusting, and our tax dollars and not going to Floridians, not going to our schools, not going to our infrastructure, not going to hurricane recovery, but going to fucking Israel. I don't understand what is up with that. I really don't. It blows my mind. The same politicians who tell us there's no money for anything here somehow have endless cash for a foreign government. But if you dare ask why, if you dare question it, suddenly you're the problem. Of course you are, because we can't ask questions. We're not allowed to ask questions about Israel. You can ask questions about anything else, but not their beloved Israel. Ugh. Trying to find my place. I lose it every time I scroll up. I lose where I am. Yeah, suddenly you're the problem, and suddenly you're dangerous. Suddenly you're a criminal, and suddenly you're an anti-Semite. This isn't governance. This is loyalty testing. This is authoritarianism with a Florida tan. Keeping on the subject of disgusting, also known as Israel, did anyone else hear Netanyahu's speech? He gave a speech last weekend, and let me assure you, I wanted to vomit. Like I always want to vomit whenever I hear that man's voice. Netanyahu's speech was a masterclass in recycled bullshit. 100% lies, 1,000% lies, and propaganda. He walked out like he was about to deliver a revelation, and then proceeded to spew the same old tired crap that has brainwashed so many Americans. Of course, his continued effort of gaslighting and lying to as many people as he can, and to hopefully convince Western nations that anti-Semitism is and has become a major problem that is coming in waves, and that it must be stopped. He demands that it be stopped. I saw on X an hour ago, or someone posted on X of him, Netanyahu, demanding the Western nations get a hold of anti-Semitism to make, it was just disgusting. And he said, and I advised them to take heed. Making threats. I couldn't believe it. Who does he think he is, for real? He is so evil. He's just an evil man. He really is. So, of course, he continued. Okay, I said that. He's hopefully trying to convince Western nations that anti-Semitism has become a major problem, and it must be stopped. He went as far as saying, I quote, "Speaking out against Israel is criminal and must be made policy in the US, Europe, and Australia, and especially in America." He also said, and I quote, "We have to start fighting it in America." He said, "Fight, fight, fight. Do not cower. Do not bend. Fight back." And he was talking to an Israel audience. He continued, the rising criticism of Israel is proof that the world hates Jews. They're always the fucking victim, aren't they? Always the freaking victim. So we just hate Jews. The world just hates Jews. It couldn't be because of the genocide that they're committing in Gaza, right? Could that be why people don't like them very much? Oh, not in his mind. Not in his mind. It's because we're anti-Semites. We just hate them. Is he really that dumb? I say yes, he is. He's clueless. No, he's just a liar. He erased the entire context of the conflict and replaced it with a morality play where Israel is always righteous and everyone else is always hateful. Continuing, and I quote, we are always blamed, forever playing the victim. They are always the victim. It is getting so freaking old. Then he made a joke saying Israel will support itself in 10 years. I had to laugh out loud. When has Israel ever supported themselves? Never. So just by a sheer miracle in 10 years, they're going to be supporting themselves? Yeah, right. Israel has always had its hand out, always demanding more, more, more. Give us your money. Give us more right now. Give us your money. Then he bragged that Hamas only has AK-47s left because Israel destroyed everything else of theirs. And he used that as justification to keep going, to keep up the genocide. He said Hamas must surrender all of their rifles, as if that's a realistic or meaningful demand. He is absolutely demented. Meanwhile, the humanitarian crisis is catastrophic, but of course he didn't mention that once. Why would he? It would undermine their purpose, right? So disgusting. So, on his 7th trip to Washington, was it? I think it was last week. After meeting with Trump, he hinted in his speech this past weekend that Trump agrees with his vision for Iran, saying Iran only lies. Oh my gosh. And laying out what he thinks the U.S. should do next. It was a not so subtle attempt to influence American policy through public pressure as usual. The whole speech was designed to do one thing: shut down criticism. Shut down criticism, shut down debate, shut down accountability. And our politicians ate it up like it was scripture, because they always do. Pam Bondi and the Epstein files. Pam Bondi had herself a meltdown that deserves its own documentary. The Epstein files dropped, finally, and instead of addressing the fact that some of the most powerful people on earth were connected to a trafficking operation, she acted like the real crime was the public knowing anything at all. She snapped at lawmakers, talked over people, and practically accused the committee of treason for daring to ask questions. She acted like transparency was a personal attack. She behaved like someone who's terrified of sunlight. And the funniest part, you guys, she kept insisting that the Epstein files don't mean anything and that people are misinterpreting them, while simultaneously losing her mind, that they were released. If they don't mean anything, Pam, why are you sweating? But let's be real. None of the elite involved are going to face consequences. Not one. We all know that. The system protects its own. The only people who ever get punished are the ones without power, us peasants. And that's the truth. So, I need to pause this for a moment. My nose is running. I'll be right back. Okay, so there are two. No, I'm going to talk about more than two, but the two I'm starting with, let's see if I can pronounce these names. Shalomo Kramer and Rabbi Yehuda. Let me make it clear who these people are. Rabbi Yehuda resides in America. I'm assuming he's an American rabbi. He is the U.S. Special Envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism. It's an ambassador-level diplomatic role. Like we really needed that, right? It's crazy. Once again, our president, our top government official, has been gaslit into believing anti-Semitism is a problem in this country. It's not a problem. It's a figment of their imagination. It's not a problem. There aren't a lot of anti-Semite running around that I've seen. Enough of us get called that. That doesn't make it true. It's absolutely ridiculous that this position is a position. The president appointed him, so we had no say in this. Let me clue you in on what he does. He advises the U.S. government on anti-Semitism. Duh. He represents the United States internationally. He works inside the State Department. Thank goodness he doesn't vote on laws. Not yet, anyway. He does not sit on legislative committees. That's coming, I'm sure. He does not have authority over bills like the two I was talking about earlier. He did, however, testify before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, but he doesn't serve there. A lot of people got confused about that, but he does not serve on the Foreign Relations Committee. Then we have Shalomo Kramer. He is a top Israeli defense official who, along with Rabbi Yehuda, went on American TV, and they said the quiet part out loud. They said that limits need to be put on our free speech. Yes, they did. They didn't sugarcoat it. They said Americans should not be allowed to criticize Israel, period. They said the United States should adopt policies that restrict speech in the name of safety. Imagine coming onto American television and telling Americans they need to give up their First Amendment rights to protect a foreign government. And the host on the shows they were on, they just kind of nodded and went along with them like this was normal. Kramer said, and I quote, "It's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it and quickly before it's too late. We need to control the platforms, all the social media platforms. We need to confirm the authenticity of everyone who expresses themselves online." You know what he means? He means he wants it to be where you can't go online unless you are verified by the government. No more anonymous posting. And then we're controlled on what we can say by our rankings. It's like a social credit score. Ending with he ended with saying the government should control social media. Can you imagine? Then I heard the Lieutenant Governor of Florida, his name's Jay Collins, say, and I quote, yes, the Lieutenant Governor of Florida, from other people with your words. You don't have the right to say things that have really negative, really horrible meanings when you want people to destroy Israel. That matters. I'm pretty sure I have the right to say what I want. I 1000% have the right to say what I want, Mr. Lieutenant Governor. I can say anything I want about Israel, the Israeli government. I have free speech because I am an American. God gave me that right, and only God can take it away. I am allowed to say the things, even if it hurts the Zionists' feelings. This is freaking America, and I suggest you remember that. People, please remember this fact. The single greatest threat to freedom of speech in the United States at this point and time is Israel and its supporters. Let me say that again. The single greatest threat to freedom of speech in the United States right now is Israel and its supporters. This is the part that should terrify everyone. They're not hiding it anymore. They're not pretending. They're openly advocating for censorship, and our politicians are lining up to help them. You guys, we've got to get these old fucks out of Washington. They're ruining us, and they don't care. Let's talk about tampon Waltz. Governor Waltz, bless his selective outrage, is out here trying to charge the federal government for the mess they made in Minnesota. Yep, he wants to bill the federal government for messing up his city, Minneapolis. It's crazy. He's acting like he's the sheriff of America handing out invoices. But he never mentions his own pending issues involving billions. He never mentions the investigations. He never mentions the financial scandals. Never says a word about his involvement. It's always projection with him. Always. Candace Owen continues to be the internet's favorite punching bag because she refuses to shut up and follow the script. Every time she exposes something, TPUSA lies, stuff about Erica Kirk and her lies, Charlie's assassination and the Fed slop that we get fed, or whatever else, the outrage machine fires up instantly. They don't hate her because she's wrong. They hate her because she keeps catching people in lies. She keeps asking questions she's not supposed to ask. She keeps pulling receipts. And nothing terrifies an establishment, left or right, more than someone who won't play along. So that's the wrap up for last week, this week. I don't know which week, you guys. Florida politicians trying to muzzle Floridians. Netanyahu running the same script he's been running for decades. Elites melting down over the Epstein files. And the usual cast of characters telling Americans to shut up and obey. If this is how the year is starting, buckle up, you guys, because the people in power are counting on everyone being too tired, too scared, or too distracted to push back. But not here. We've got their number. We need to stick together. We need to get loud. So Y'all have a great rest of your day, and I'm going to start live streaming. So I hope that I can get more of you to come on over and interact with me. Yeah. Please like, subscribe, share, do all that. And I will talk to you next time. Adios.